Welcome, everybody, to the Made in Dreams podcast. I'm your host, Mighty Vicious. We are here for the Season 2, Episode 10, Bonanza. And today, I got with me, as you can see, we got some old, we got some new, but they're all precious. We got MikeyCslt. How's it going, my guy?
It's pretty good, man. Not too
All
bad.
right. Jammy James the Emperor, are you here with us today? You doing okay, guy?
I'm here. I'm not sure how I'm going to be mentally, but we should be good. We should be good.
Alrighty. Mbergs, good to see you again. Good to have you back.
Oh, hello.
The main man. And we have the streaming titan, Elca Gaming, here with us. How goes it, dude?
It's going good. How are you?
It's wonderful. It's good to hear your voice. Anyway, so now that we've made it weird, Pac had to call out for other reasons that we will not discuss, but he is with us in spirit. I thought it was good to keep his logo here with us as part of the family. So let's get started. This is the third round table, guys. Kick it off. Mikey, bring us into the fold.
How's it going? It's exciting to be here, Mighty. Thanks for inviting me.
Of course.
I've been, long time watcher of the show. Not always a fan of your opinions, but I've always listened to your side of the story too. But so I'm sure you've seen me in chat. But yeah, so excited to be here. But yeah, I don't know. You wanna talk about some stuff that's not as controversial to start?
I mean, that's sure. I mean, you know me. I never shy away from the controversy, baby. But let's start off with something a little dreams related.
Yeah, let's have a side salad before we get to the main. Let's take it in easy.
Yeah, we were talking, and I just feel like we've talked about a lot of topics that I feel strongly about. But one of the ones you kind of brought up last time, talking about the Connect and all that, and finding uses of dreams outside of just games and all that, even just within the platform. So I've experimented with what's it called? It's where you take the photographs and you create a
telegrammetry.
There you go. Thank you. I always fumble that word, but so I played with that a little bit. Haven't had a lot of success, but I've seen some of it in there. And I also used to do stuff with the Connect and do art installations in college.
Mm-hmm.
So just being able to build something interactive that you could put out into the world and put up in display where people wouldn't need to touch a controller if we had the camera abilities to interact and stuff. That would be a nice direction to go, but obviously I don't think that's capable, or we're not capable of doing that at the moment. But so anything like that.
Well, one of the things that I've had a project that my first project, the only one that I have out for people really to see. The second, I put out part 1 and I'm redoing it now. But one of the things that got me hung up was the fact that there's a part in my script where there's a photo. And the photo has to be of a scene that happens in a flashback, but it hasn't happened. So I'm it would be really cool, instead of me looking like I have no hands trying to draw this detailed scene out, if I could just take a picture, if we had a photo mode in Dreams that you could then take that photo and put it into a dream, re-implement it into a dream. And I thought that would be something that, even if all the other things I wanted couldn't happen, that would be something that I think would be really useful just really useful to, I think, everybody.
Little Big Planet did it, so we know they're capable of doing it and accessing it. And I feel the photos are stored somewhere on Sony's databases, right? Or somewhere. It doesn't necessarily have to be Media Molecule, but I just wonder what that would do to load time. So, yeah, do you think it's people that know more than other than sculpting? Is that possible?
I think though, if that was in there, you wouldn't need to collaborate with someone else and get them to help you paint or help you draw. I think that's kind of the cool part, is that if you're not the one who's going to make that photo or that painting or whatever, you can just find someone who can. And a lot of times people will.
A lot of times, but there's some times that they won't.
That's fair.
Well, it's just sometimes. Everybody's working on a billion things. That's what I've run into the most. It's just everybody's trying to be super productive. So like, I feel like almost as a piggyback off of that question is, you know, for someone creative like all of you and Elka, like, how long are you willing to spend on a creation? Because, you know, especially with Elka and working on I don't know if I can say it. I don't know how that works. I don't know how that works. You tell me.
There's a lot of red tape.
Just don't say Cora.
So everybody knows what Elka's working on. So like, you know, I guess, how long are you, like, do you see the fact that you can't bring it outside of Dreams to be, you know, everybody talks about exporting. We don't have to go over that for the 1,000th time. But like, do you have points where you're like, you know, I'm doing all this work. Is it sufficient enough for you that it stays in Dreams for such a huge project?
Yeah, I do think so. I started this project off just for me, honestly. So I have like an avatar game that I can play. And it's still kind of the case. And you asked earlier how long am I willing to spend on this, and is it like worth it and stuff like that. And I am willing to spend so much time until it's finished, basically. So yeah, I think it's kind of cool to have it in Dreams, and I don't think we need exporting for like stuff like that, honestly.
Okay.
I don't know. I like 3D object exporting more, so you can 3D print stuff and like that. So we could print out our levels and stuff. I think that's cooler, honestly.
Yeah, I think like Alka's kind of right. Like a lot, I feel like a lot of creators do it for themselves. Like I've been working on Lost Peak, which isn't as grand or as complex as Alka's project, but like I'm just doing it for myself. Like I could have published it like over the summer, but I'm like, no, I want to add more. I want to add animation. I want to add some cutscenes, which is fine for me to do, but like it doesn't really add to the value of the game that much. But it's like a project that I kind of want to work on, and like I don't really want to export it out of Dreams. I'd love to like 3D print a little scene I made and then like put that on my shelf because that would be awesome. But like Dreams is like a cool self-contained little thing that like is a little sketchbook for me. So that's awesome.
I would argue the point that releasing in Dreams is a very good thing, that it's sort of locked to the platform. And I say that because the majority of people that, you know, use Dreams are not had experience with game development before. So, you know, if you look at the indie game market, like on Steam, for instance, it's absolutely drenched with people, you know, releasing games daily, little indie games and stuff, and they just get lost in the flood of content. Whereas with Dreams, I feel that if you release something there, you almost but guaranteed to have interaction, plays, comments, feedback. You're going to get that because that's what the community's all about. When stuff comes out on Dreams, people play it. You know, you look at some of the content on Dreams that's got thousands and thousands of plays. Would that necessarily convert over the same way if it was released on Steam? I don't think it would.
And it can exist there forever, so it's accessible. Yeah. So even if it doesn't get discovered right away, you can continue to polish it. Somebody could play it every once in a while, and down the line, maybe it blows up. Because, I mean, think about things that are on like YouTube or like other UGC platforms where content just doesn't get rediscovered until later, and then it blows up. So like, I look at it like that. It's an ecosystem that's easily accessible. Like James is saying, you have to go find the game on Steam, download it, maybe buy it for even $1 or so, and then try to play that. Where Dreams, you just go in and it's like, oh, look, there's these things that have existed forever, and now they've finally figured out how to float good stuff to the top a few years down the road, you know? So yeah, I think it's worth it.
I'd like to clarify, because I'm not trying to argue that it isn't worth it. Just to clarify for people out there before someone else comes. Yeah, but I feel like it's posing. I feel like the question. I feel like the question is important because like what we got into last week, but we didn't spend much time on because it was something that we felt fit better in this roundtable, was the idea that basically, I don't know, like, it's kind of like what Dreams is used for, as well as what someone coming in right off the bat is faced with. And I think that, and one thing I think is really important with the growing of Dreams as a platform is the idea that people shouldn't come into it thinking everything's just given to me. Like, like it's, but, you know, because there are different uses. Like, for instance, with me wanting to do short films, it's easy for me to really to make it, put it on Dreams, and then move it off of Dreams. Like if I really want to, but everybody thinks of Dreams mostly in the game development format. And you had brought up a point, Mikey, on that as far as, you know, how you said you didn't agree with some of my stances, but you also started to look at like what I use Dreams for and what it does for me as opposed to what it does for other people.
Because personally, for me, it's an equivalent to like the Creative Suite that Adobe has. So I look at it as a tool set that even if as like a whole they don't do the thing that everybody wants them to do, it still does something different, which is bringing all these tools together in an ecosystem where they like are really easy to talk to each other, and like you can take stuff from other people. Because like that's one thing. Like I think the last roundtable did a great job of showing, or at least talking about, how like hard and not luxurious game development is on all these other platforms, where it's like, why don't you use a real platform? It's like, well, because they're very technical and it's not fun. This is fun. This is play, but it also is super powerful. So I think people need to understand that like this is as polished and pretty as it gets at the moment in terms of game development, or just like even these suites like that. I can't go into ZBrush and like after even years of going in and out of it, do stuff as quickly and easily as I can sculpting in Dreams.
Yeah.
So
same thing like with me. Like I do a lot of like digital painting and stuff, and like you can throw together a scene so much faster in Dreams, and like it's gonna look twice as good, twice as fast. Like you can do things so quickly. And like I know like last week on the roundtable as well, you talked about like exporting games or like working inside and outside of Dreams, and like I don't know who said it, but someone said like a real game, like a real game. And I'm like, like games and Dreams are real games. Like
I know,
it's not like a cadet like. I know that's
that
what
kind of triggered me last week. I was like, oof, real game, really? Okay.
No, believe me, there were some off the record hot takes that were given in the background, but we were determined to keep the show as positive, or as perceivably positive as could be. But Mbergs, what have you been working on lately?
Well, I've actually been like in school a lot of the past year. Like actually since the last podcast I was on, that was like the last Friday I had before school. So since then, I have like 10 classes a week. I'm like swamped. But like in Dreams, I've mostly been doing like helping other dreamers. So I've been like dropping into collabs with people and giving them like lighting tips or composition tips, and like helping them with assets and level design and stuff. So I've like helped Piece of Craft with a few of his things he's put out. And then also like with Jampod with like Acer and JJ, we did Ghost Geezers. Sorry, I forgot the name. So we did that for Halloween, and like a couple small things on my own on the side, but like I haven't had like hours and hours of pour into Dreams, so that's why I'm excited for like April to come around, where I have actual time to deep dive into something. So
okay, all right.
And like I've still been working on Lost Peak is still something I'm working on, but like it takes a long time to do like all the custom animations and all that stuff for it. So, and I'm doing that on my own still. So
that was going to actually be my next question: is when is Lost Peak coming out? Because I seriously need to play that. It's been so long. Like I need an update or something.
Man, I feel like it's the same thing happened last week where they're talking about like the unexpected things of like game dev. Like I've made like 2.5 like full levels, and they're good and they're playable. But now it's like going back and like doing all the small things like the animation for when the character gets hurt. I have to go back and implement that, and like I still have to like do the ending animations and the cutscenes and stuff, and like figure out how that's going to wrap up in a nice way that's kind of like fulfilling for a player, I guess. So there's like so many small things that like are taking a long time, especially when I'm doing it in like an hour or two a week.
Oh, no,
on top of
look,
like helping other dreamers and stuff. So
I can totally appreciate that, and I really give you credit for being able to do this on your own. Like, with Dino, like we have a team of people, and we are constantly firing messages like, okay, what about this? What about this? What about that? Because there is so much intricacy that you wouldn't necessarily think of before you go into game development, and there's so many little details that need to be addressed in order for things just to work fine, and the player wouldn't necessarily see all the detailed conversations you've had to put into something because they just look at it at face value. But there is so much work that goes into just making something look right, and the fact that you're doing that on your own against us with a team just blows my mind. It's just like what are you doing to yourself?
Yeah, anybody that does it alone, I'm completely enamored.
Oh, Mighty,
Mighty, you're muted.
Mighty.
You're muted.
Yeah, anybody that does it alone, I'm completely enamored by it, because I was like, as I talked about last week, that problem I was talking about, that piece of logic I was stuck on, I'm still stuck on it. Okay, a week later, 3 tutorials and Tap helping me, and I'm still stuck. So, but Tap said he'd be willing to give me a quick run through with lessons. So I'm probably gonna take those. But yeah, like anybody that can do it all alone, because I'm gonna tell you, working with Logic made me go, you got into this for film. Why don't you just stay in your lane? Screw Logic, just use the little animation tricks.
There's like some Logic stuff, but like I think one of the cool things about Dreams is because it's so approachable in a lot of ways that like you're allowed to have fun with Logic and be terrible at it, but still make something cool, right? Like if you're using like any other suite of software, like you just won't be able to. Like you would have to learn an entire new language to try to implement the most basic thing. Whereas in Dreams, you can hack together something and it works and it's cool, or it kind of works, but it's still cool. And you're learning a lot.
Or you spend 4 hours putting it together and then you press play and it looks like a Picasso. Whichever way whichever way it goes down.
But you'll spend 4 hours in something else and it crashes. So
no, those are the moments that, even though that sounded like a slight, those are the moments of joy when I look back and I think about like where I started, getting back to that point, like where I started, because Dreams was the first time that I was able to really get into any type of 3D animation, like mostly animation other than like hand-drawn, and it was open to me, but there were those moments where, I was like, wow, like it's kind of where my constant give me Wacom access. Like it's where that comes from, but I do admire how great, or how not great, definitely not great, but how much better I've gotten without it. And like, where my characters first come out looking like Muppets, and now it's like they actually have a certain, like they have a style to them. And it's those things that keep me really going. Whereas, I see a lot of people that are, show up on like the Facebook boards or in Twitter or whatever, and they hit those walls and they don't have the same thing. Like it goes super negative for them. So that's why I always try to harken back to that. Everybody here is, well, everybody else here is great at at Dreams, and seeing people that are as good as all of you are, sometimes it inspires people, but it also gives that opposite side where someone comes in and they're like, yeah, I'm gonna do that too, and then they see what it takes to actually get to that point, and setting realistic expectations, which a lot of people didn't have coming into Dreams.
Yeah, I was talking with some outsider Dreams artist friends like last night actually, kind of about this, because like I'm in our program and we're all doing our crazy art stuff, but a lot of us are feeling like that like imposter syndrome right now, which I feel like a lot of new dreamers, or I'm sure everyone kind of feels this though, like they're not as good as someone else, or they're not doing the best work they can do. But like you have to kind of think about that, like we only see the end result, like we only see the perfect thing someone decides to publish. You don't see like the 6, 7, 8 like failed dreams they tried to make and like didn't work for 1,000 different reasons, and that's okay, right? So like
there's an archive for a reason.
Yeah. So like you're saying like you're like bad at Dreams or bad at Logic, like you're not. You're just like earlier in the learning process as someone else would have been. Like my first dream that I made, I deleted it because it was terrible. But like, you have to go up the hill and you got to like start somewhere, right? So
That's why I like
Also,
streaming everything, because people get to see like the mistakes. Because like I used to watch speed drawings, right, and speed scopes, and I would be like, wow, how did they make all the right decisions like on that path? And I'm like, I know this is sped up, but then I started seeing speed scopes without the like the decisions taken out, and so they would like go a direction, back up, go a direction, back up, and I was like, oh, that's makes so much more sense because that's how I work. But like I thought these people were just perfect. And it was like another Instagram versus reality type of thing, but for an artist. And it's like, oh, just show the process and then people can approach it.
Like with Lost Peak, like the third level, I think I've like restarted like 3 times. Just because like it didn't work with what I was trying to do. And I was like, oh, it's not going to work. So I'm just going to cut it and like do something else instead. And it's better for it. But like no one's ever going to see those. And that's A, cool, but B, kind of like misleading if what the process is. Yeah.
And Entropy just said, the biggest key to good art creation is willingness to scrap and try again. And Dreams makes that so easy to make that decision, because I used to get so precious even over pencil strokes. Like, and now with Dreams, I'm like, back up, go forward, back up. All right, cool. Like, whatever. Let's do that again. We can do it better and faster.
Yeah.
Also, it's really important that you sometimes just restart stuff, because I started Avatar alone, and this was basically my first project. And I worked up until the beginning of last year to it. And then we made the team with Mikey, with Spock, and we completely redid everything. We redid Aang, we redid all the logic, we redid levels. I'm still redoing levels, because at some point you're gonna hit a wall with every art form. And then you have to like learn new stuff from other dreamers, remix stuff, take them apart and see how it's made. And you learn so much stuff with that that you can implement in your own dreams, and like redo stuff you made in the past and make it more optimized and stuff like that too.
Yeah, because like restarting is not the same as giving up. Like if it's not working, it's not working. You can take what you did, learn from it, and apply it to something else. But it's not failing, it's not giving up. It's like it's the process of working. So
sometimes I'll talk about what I'm thinking about doing, and then I find myself all the time being like, you know what, I'm just going to do it because we can and it's quick, and then I'll do it. And I'm like, we won't know until we fail. Like, so let's do it wrong a couple of times, and then we'll be like, oh, there it is. The answer will, reveal itself.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was getting worried there for a second before Elca jumped in. I was like, Elca's being real quiet today.
We can't see it.
Oh, we lost one. James. See, this is what I'm talking about. This is if you can see the stream right now, this is what I mean by it all goes haywire.
Where's my second screen? There we go.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So I guess we'll just keep it going until he jumps back in. I guess the Queen heard what he was talking about earlier.
Yeah, she cut his internet off.
she cut his internet.
I'm back now. I'm back.
we were just talking about how the Queen took your internet from all that stuff you were saying.
She canceled you, James.
There's a really bad storm happening right now, and it keeps messing with my internet.
I hope that it keeps this image that's stuck on the screen for the rest of the show.
You're frozen.
Oh no, he came back. Dang it. Dang it. Anyway, so I guess we'll go to Elca next. Like, is there something that you wanted to take this time to discuss? Something about dreams, or what brought you here? Like, other than your love of the unnamed project?
We had a really interesting topic on a stream, on my stream in the last days, and that is like selling dreams as a separate version that only has a play side of it on other platforms too. So without the editor, or maybe with the editor as on DLC. How do you think about that? So people can enjoy the dreams that are made, but like are locked out of the edit side, and it's like really cheap, and the editor is like a, I don't know, $5 DLC or something.
I would say that would be awesome, but at the same time, I feel like we're maybe 3 months away from Dreams just being put as a PlayStation Plus game.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, probably.
So I feel like that would definitely have been a way to go about it if they focused on getting players and not creators to begin with. But yeah, with them doing like the sales where it's like $10 and stuff like that,
Yeah.
I feel like we're like
Crazy.
3 months.
That's an early access price, and that's like saying, hey, this game's probably going to be included or free for this platform eventually, but you get access to it now if you want to like throw us a few bucks.
Yeah. And welcome Notre Dame, and thank you for the raid. And
But I love the idea of charging people off the Sony platform, because I mean they need to make money, right? And they're looking for it. We don't want it to be in DLC form. We don't want it to be in like gatekeeping within the platform. So I think anybody who is willing to buy a PlayStation and get Dreams, or have it bundled with Dreams because it comes on the creative console for free, then I think it'd be fine to be like, hey, you have an Xbox, but you want to play all these great games. Here's like access to the Dreams library, maybe in some form. Maybe it's restricted because of Move controller necessities or PlayStation VR for some games. But like, here's a way to access it, come over to the platform and experience like the full thing if you want. But that way they can still profit in a way.
The only problem that you would have with that, though, is because Dreams is built completely around PlayStation, buttons like the touchpad, for instance. And I'm not sure if it would mess up some people's creations because it's not going to map correctly to a foreign controller. I'm not too sure how that would actually work.
So would you rather? Well, I'm trying to think. What if it was the other way around?
I'm the Alchemist. The Xbox controller doesn't have a gyroscope.
What?
So there's no way to do any of the tilting stuff.
Yeah, so
Xbox
any
and
game
stuff.
that has, gyroscope on it's not going to work.
Well, they don't deserve Dreams anyway. But the point is, no, I'm just
I don't think it needs to. I don't think they need to do that.
Right.
At all. I think there's enough people on Sony's platform that they can drive to this platform itself.
There's like 100 million PlayStation 4s out there? Like
140.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe the goal isn't to sell to Xbox, but to just like cut Xbox off and be like, just go do the PC thing. We got the console covered. Like,
yeah, it's. I think they need to keep it to PlayStation. I've always said it, and I will stick by my guns. I think it being locked to the PlayStation is what makes it special. Is like the fact that it's all done on a console.
Yeah.
And Sony have that right to keep the name tag as a creative console. If you start moving it to other platforms, I personally think it sort of takes away a little bit of what is magical about Dreams.
See, I don't like. Yes, I know. Like, I remember when like Horizon Zero Dawn came out on PC, people were mad about that because it's a PlayStation game. But like, why? Like, you should be happy that people get to play the game you've enjoyed for so long. Like, now more people get to play it.
Right. Like 10 years from now, I want Dreams on PC.
Yeah. Like,
oh yeah.
I think the like barriers in the way of like Dreams coming to PC or Xbox is like the DS4 and the moves and stuff, right? You need those. And like Dreams wouldn't be better because you have a mouse and keyboard. In fact, like it might be worse. Like you have more ways to express yourself through a controller than through a mouse and keyboard. Like a mouse and keyboard was designed in like the 70s or 80s to do like data input, not sculpting and drawing and stuff.
2D moving.
Yeah. Yeah. We're like,
get out of here with that mouse.
Like this controller, you can like do all the stuff with it. Like, I don't know. Like it should go to PC. It should go to Xbox if it could. But like, it doesn't need something else to be better than it is right now. Just that bigger player base is what would be awesome for it.
It's fine where it is. It just needs more players.
Yeah, I can hear James. I can hear his brain being like, they can play our scraps, but we.
Hell yeah! I want them to make money on this so that they can give us more God of Wars, more Horizon Zero Dawns. More of all these amazing games.
if Media Molecule needs money, all they need to do is release Imp plushies, and they're going to be rich. They don't need DLC. They don't need to gatekeep anything on the platform. They don't need to touch Dreams. Just
I've never gotten from not knowing something to like needing it as fast as like launching my imp as a plushie.
Have imp plushies, t-shirts, that just do all that stuff, and you're gonna be fine. You'll have enough funding for 20 years. I guarantee people are gonna buy that stuff like crazy, including myself.
Man, if anyone in like the Dreams community can knit, I will like absolutely buy a plushie of my
start an Etsy.
Someone start an Etsy.
Yes, we need a made in Dreams Etsy. Made in Etsy.
Yes. Mine's simple. I just use the green imp.
Oh yeah.
My
like the default imp.
My imp doesn't even show up.
What?
Never. I haven't been able to see my imp since.
Are you playing beta?
What?
How are you even doing Dreams without an imp? Like, how do you know where you're going?
I have a dot, and that's it.
What? No way.
What?
No. Record this.
Did you
stream
put this on
this?
feedback? On,
Did I what?
Dreams feedback? Did you report this as a bug?
No,
because that's huge.
That's a huge bug.
I mean, it hasn't stopped me. I mean, I'm still it. Believe
You're
me,
telling me your imp doesn't do the little bounce when you paint?
Yeah.
No, I'm jealous every time I go see someone who does music,
What?
like the people who do music streams for Dreams, and they're like bouncing the imp with the music. I'm just like, man, that looks so fun, and I don't know.
It's like someone saying like, oh, I just finished Last of Us 2, but like Ellie never showed up. Like, it was good, but like I just didn't see Ellie. It was great. I don't know. I saw the gun floating, but like I don't know.
Gun.
Have you tried like changing your imp back and forth? To see if
1,000
it
times.
already?
1,000
Okay.
times.
Dude, you need to reach out to Media Molecule. That sounds like a really isolated issue.
Yeah.
No, because I'm gonna start holding it over people. I'm gonna be like, yeah, you creating all this stuff, but do you got that invisible imp, bro?
No.
Do you got that unlocked special imp, bro? Like, I'm gonna start doing that because, see, someone's telling me delete and reinstall. See, I thought that would have been done when I got the PlayStation 5. Like when the PlayStation 5, when I finally got my hands on that baby, I was like, I'm finally gonna have my imp back. Nope.
Change platform.
I'm just so used to it not being there. I'm just used to it not being there now.
That's insane. I've never heard of someone not having an imp.
I have a dot that floats around. That's what I have.
That's crazy.
Someone just
that would
your,
make it hard.
Dreams profile and see if we can see your imp. Like if we go to your home screen, can we see your imp? Like I wonder if it's there.
Yeah, it's on his In Dreams because I've grabbed it for our logo. Like you can see that's his imp is the brown one and mine's the blue one.
Entropy said imp is a reflection of your soul. So I mean I can't argue with that logic. I can't.
It's there, but it's just a dot.
But to be fair, if anyone was going to have a one in a million glitch in Dreams, it would be Mighty Vicious.
It would.
Yeah.
I also say I'm not mad at it. I just thought
I'm wondering what other errors you have that you think are just Dreams related, but they're just
and no one else has had them before.
I think my whole logic board is messed up. My whole logic, that's the problem. It's not that I don't know what I'm doing. It's that I've just unlocked that secret logic doesn't work perk.
You're like, my not gates actually are yes gates.
Maybe he messed up so bad with the logic, it glitched his imp.
It just took it away from me. It was like, you don't get to play with that anymore.
You don't deserve the imp.
Walked out.
Do you still have the text around the imp?
The what?
The text? Is there still text around your imp? Because there's like button prompts and stuff.
Oh, yeah. I still have that. It's just below the dot.
Whoa.
That's so strange. That's so
You're going to have to take like a video. You're going to have to do a video and post this on Twitter so we can all see
I'm not
it.
going to lie. If I wasn't like locked in creating before we started the podcast, I was thinking about because I wasn't sure if Fock was going to be here or not. I was thinking of making his window the PlayStation 5 window and, and try creating.
Showing it.
But I'll do that. I'll do that in another later episode so I can show you all my invisible imp styles.
Yeah, flex on everyone.
Yeah, flex on. Y'all see that?
Like, the 2 years we've been playing Dreams, like I've seen like minimal bugs. Like you would expect like something so wild and with so many different areas that could break that like there's so minimal bugs. Like it's wild.
Also, crashes. I think I only had one crash in like 2,000 hours or so. So crazy.
Yeah.
I've only ever had one crash, and that was only because I got the PS5, and it was before that patch where games was crashing all the time. I don't even think it was streams. I think it was just the PlayStation 5 having a hissy fit. Like, I've never known for Dreams to be like this buggy place. And like you said, for what it is, you would expect it to be as buggy as hell.
Yeah.
Because, like, you know, you can even do stuff that the devs didn't anticipate you would be able to do. So, like, you're messing with their code, and yet it's still pristine in the way that
I always think back to Little Big Planet falling flat and doing games rather like than having them like 3 deep. It was like 3 high, and you were running around a world. Like they didn't think people were gonna break it in that way, and it opened up a whole new genre on Little Big Planet. So I was like, what are we gonna do in Dreams? It's gonna be crazy. Like we are going to go so far with it. And the fact that we can't break it as much as I like expected we would is pretty impressive.
It is. It's crazy. I mean, and there's just so much detail. Like, if you really break down Dreams and look at each individual section, like just the undo and redo button, for instance, is crazy. Like how far it records every single move.
Because it's all a text document, right? It's just literally like a string of text that's like records every single moment and then replays that when the level's rebuilt, right? And that's why they've simplified it down to like a super small file size.
I'm like so used to the in Dreams undo redo button that each time I go into like a different software and it's not there, I'm like, oh god, like I have to go back and do that thing again because like I undid a change or like the menus are different now. Oh god.
I lose my undos on every other program. I'm just like, oh my god, I'm so like trained for Dreams.
But yeah, I mean, everything about it is just so meticulously thought about. I mean, even the imps, for instance, like, you know, just a cursor, they put so much thought and detail into even making that fit. Yeah, it's just like to make it creative. But like to make it cool and personalizable and, you know, for some people invisible because you don't deserve one. Like, you know, there's just so many different things that they thought about and really took the time to make sure that every single element of it is personalized. It's just so
I don't think about them as characters even. Like I think of them as these things, sorry, that I like to hang out with.
So much space for possibility and like customization, yet no one edits their home space.
No.
Oh, you have to look at my home space.
That's true.
Yeah.
I spent a good like half an hour on the weekend like popping into different creators and looking at their home spaces, and like one person had it made, and I was like, oh, that's so sad. I have my little home space.
Yeah,
but they're gonna add more stuff to it, right? They add like doorways and stuff, so you can enter other creations to it soon. It's on their Trello.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Sweet. That's cool.
Do you know what? Do you know what would be cool is if they made home spaces playable. So, like, if you went onto someone's profile, you could go onto their home space and like you could be a custom character that person's made, walk around, maybe
you can go into someone's home space now and walk around.
But what
a little button.
Yeah, but what I mean is like, say, I don't know, say like all your creations, like you could create your own Dreamiverse within the Dreamiverse, if you will. Like people could like, you know, plop all their different games everywhere and you just walk into it and it plays it. Like make it a lot more personalized to the person and make it more interactive, like what Dreams is. That would be pretty sweet.
Make it a lounge so that we could actually get like multiplayer and have all of our guests in there, and we could actually do the show completely in Dreams.
Oh, that would be so
cool. Did you guys ever play Rec Room, the free like VR? It would be like that, but a lot like deeper. Like I played with their creation tools because I was like, yes, VR creation is good. This is what Dreams will be like. And then I got to Dreams. I was like, yes, it's better. What?
Maybe
You've never seen Rec Room? It's like a weird community space where you could just go and hang out in VR.
Yeah.
And there's like little games and stuff you can play, but it's just a bunch of strangers sitting around talking in VR. It's super wild.
It's so fun.
It's so cool, yeah.
Yeah, Rec Room and stuff's nice. VR chat though is just a weird place on the internet that
I
don't
stayed away from VR chat.
Yeah,
Rec Room was wholesome and fun, where
Yeah.
like VR chat was like
Yeah.
the dark web.
Yeah, VR chat is literally an onion browser in VR. It's disgusting.
I've only seen
Although,
people do it.
yeah, I watch At Kid on VR, and he does role play, so he'll go into different worlds where he continues storylines with different characters he's created. So like that's cool. I'm not like a big D&D player, but like people who are able to get into that and do some role playing,
That's cool.
that's I think where it should exist. But the other stuff is just like, why are all these characters here and what are they doing with Sonic?
It's just like, the first time I went into it, because I saw it on like, I know this is totally off topic, but like I saw it on YouTube.
I'm gonna bring it
and stuff.
back. Don't worry.
I saw it on YouTube and stuff, all the funny videos of VR chat. I thought that looks hilarious. Like I would love to just sit there and watch all this hilarity happen live. So got a VR headset, instantly downloaded it, and I went in, and like within the first 5 minutes, my whole childhood cartoon characters was destroyed. I just looked in a corner. I was like, "What is SpongeBob doing? No, I am out. I'm out." It's so wrong.
Okay, so to bring it back into dreams, we the meme stuff we're going through right now. That is going to be what happens when multiplayer VR comes out. Like we will be the new VR chat, and just like people just doing the weirdest stuff, and you're gonna be like, "Oh my god, I need to just hang out with my friends here."
Yeah. I
Private
just
rooms.
almost went completely off because I don't like SpongeBob to be brought up around me personally. It takes me to a dark place.
Oh damn. Okay. That's something new we need to discuss.
I was seeing if I still had the thing for SpongeBob, because I used to have a trigger, whatever you call it, command on my channel to basically explain why I have that. I know y'all are probably like, man, he has a problem with everything. I've watched SpongeBob once in my life for 5 minutes.
Well, there's your problem. There's your problem.
No. In that 5 minutes, I was like, wait. So, you know what? I can't talk about that on here. We're going to talk about that after the show. We're going to talk about that after the show.
I want to hear it.
But remind me.
So bad.
I mean, SpongeBob has some dark episodes with like splinters and stuff.
You said what now? I'm sorry, I missed you.
SpongeBob has some dark episodes with splinters and stuff like that, and like rubbing out skin and stuff. It's crazy. Some episodes are crazy.
SpongeBob is like definitely targeted towards like college level age, even though it's marketed as a younger kid show. So it's got some stuff in there.
We gotta hold this off until
let's
I can't say what I'm going to say like live. It's not gonna work out. It's not gonna work out.
It's just instantly turned into Made in Bikini Bottom. We need to bring it back to Made in Dreams right away.
Yes.
See, I'm sorry, but this is gonna have to be between the people here, just because I don't want it to permeate the show. I don't want it to be something that sticks around longer than what I say and then just be done with it. But okay, so back to dreams. Elca, are you working on something that you're not sharing with the rest of us?
Oh, so much stuff.
Are they all games, or are they all games, or are they just like little experiences or art pieces and stuff?
Most of the stuff is like experiments to see where dreams can go and stuff like that. I shared a little video yesterday. It was like a planet and stuff. Experimenting with zero G stuff and planets but yeah, to Avatar is like a full-time job now, and I have to distract myself like all the time to keep on working on this, because otherwise it will not work. If you like work on one thing all the time, you're gonna get sick of it eventually.
Yeah.
I have like the big project that some people also know with this glitcher, should release this summer. Will not happen.
Oh, good. I'm dying to play that. The demo that you released for it was fantastic. Such a great concept.
Mhm.
Yeah, that is a big one, and I'm still experimenting with other stuff to put it into that game, and yeah, like camera stuff and like just logic circuits that I share to the community. But yeah, it's a lot, and I'm also experimenting with styles and with recently painting and music too. For example,
cool.
one cool trick I learned yesterday is like that you can like paint around like a whole sculpt and then use the duplicate tool to like duplicate it 1,000 times without like having to put the duplicates everywhere. So you, for example, for the space thingy I shared yesterday, I painted around like an asteroid and used the duplicate feature to have like 1,000 asteroids with like almost no cost. So yeah, that's it.
I'll look at that video because I did not understand what you were saying. Like you paint around it and then like clone the paint.
Yeah, exactly. And you also can have the duplicates on the camera, so you always have asteroids without like costs. So you can have like a huge space scene with that.
Yeah,
but yeah,
that's not
cool.
that's not how my dreams works. That's
You're like, I got 5 cubes and it's full.
yeah. Like, I mean, I had this talk with MC Alchemist because, like, you know, they're doing like whole things of like scenes and cities of painting, and like I made one feather, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna take that one feather and I'm going to copy it like to make like a mane going straight back. I did it, and it was like, yo, you broke me. And I was like, what? I'm like, I've seen people do so much. It's like, but whenever I try to do one thing, it's like, yo, you've exceeded everything. Stop.
Yeah. And I
part of like the fun though is trying to work within those constraints. I don't know, like trying to figure out how to make an asteroid field or like a big open world within those like really interesting dreams constraints is like such a fun challenge. And I don't know.
That's the game. That's the game dreams. And
yeah.
And I think paint is still one of those things of dreams that is like super unexplored. I think MC Alchemist is one of those guys that really experiment with it, but paint is so powerful in dreams.
Yeah,
Ledbetter with his 2D animations of like the rover.
Oh my god, like that thing he posted with like the vehicle going across that platform, like I think it was like a week ago now.
Yeah.
Like, good god, I
was working with physical paint. He came in. He was like, "Paint is hard," and I was like, "Oh, Ledbetter said that. Yes, paint is hard. Ledbetter." It's like, especially like when it was like my first time doing physical too. So I was like, I don't know what I'm doing here, but we're gonna figure it out. And then he came in, and I was like, oh gosh, dang it.
I feel like once you get moves, like what you can do with paint is like astronomically more than what you could before.
Yeah,
because
and
like
then
being able to make like
FDR
large
to
like
that.
sweeping, yeah, it's so good. Like big like arm sweeping movements and stuff. Like you can make like really intricate things that you can make with the controllers, but it's a lot.
I've never used the DS4 to create. I pick it up to use the L2 to rotate joints because I can't figure out what does anybody know how to just rotate a joint with a move controller? Because otherwise,
you tap one of the controllers against the other one's butt, and then it rotates that way.
Oh my god! Okay, thank you.
Wait, what?
I use the butt taps all the time. Butt to butt, head to butt, left head to right butt.
Yeah, so if you're animating, you tap it against the other one, and then it switches the rotation.
Oh my god! Because I've been picking up my DS controller, and I think I'm gonna break the scene every time. I'm like, how do I grab a thing and then move in on it with this? And then I just put it down and grab my moves again because I feel comfortable.
Just butt tap.
I haven't been able to use my moves in Dreams though since like September or since the PS5 came out in November, I guess, because my moves don't work on the PS5. It's so annoying.
Even with the little dongle?
Yeah, like that's what I have. What? And they like the PSVR works, but the moves they jump around a lot.
Oh
like,
no!
It's almost like they're on like grid snap when I'm moving them, and it's bad. So I've just been using my DS4, which is like.
Well, then I can't switch until we get a PS5 update and new controllers. I only use the moves.
Sorry, if anyone else has like had that problem and have solved it, like message me on Twitter because like it sucks.
I would
Damn.
love to get like a senior art developer in here right now. Just explain to him like how moves work for art. Like, so you just do like butt to butt tap, tap to tap, 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 tap.
Oh yeah. When they
Just
came
keep
out,
in mind,
they
just
started
like,
doing it,
what
and
is
Kareem was like,
happening?
"You do this." I was like, "Yes." And so people ask me all the time, "Why does Mikey like smack those things all the time?" Because I'm like, pick color, take away, like mirror, like doing all this stuff. And
My favorite thing is helping people with audio, and like on the Tweak Edge for sound effects, you can like randomize value, and you're like, oh, just like spread the little butt cheeks. Like there's a little like a little butt cheek. You can just slide it.
Jesus Christ!
creatives come up with terms, man. Like
It's the most accurate way to describe it.
what now?
In dreams, we spread butt cheeks.
See, I have moves, but whenever I try to use them, I don't know, like I haven't had very much practice with them, and I swear something's up with my setup where like it never feels like I have control over them. I mean, they're not jittery or anything like y'all were talking about, but I don't know. It just seems like there's something. I went through all the tutorials, but it's just something about it that just seems like I just can't get my head around it. And I was thinking it might be that I just need to go directly into VR whenever it's available.
It'll make way more sense.
Yeah.
I just think that you're cursed. Seriously. You from invisible imps to motion
can
control
you see your
problems.
imps when you're using the moves? Can you see your imp when you're using the move? Because if you can't see your imps without the move, it's going to be a lot harder than.
That's what I was gonna say. I was like, that's gotta be difficult, man.
I don't think I can.
Interesting.
Whoa.
Interesting.
I'll have to go and try again, but after what y'all just said, I probably won't be able to do it on the PS5 yet. But
as far as I know, like I'm the only person who's had this because I've asked it on Twitter before, and tons of people have one, and it works fine. It's just my set, or not even my setup, because I've tried it in different rooms and stuff. But
I might have to test mine out.
Have you ever worked in 3D programs before, Mighty? This is the first.
No, this is the first.
I legitimately think you have to like learn how 3D space works. So like you just didn't have those connections made yet in your brain. So I think like VR really does help make those connections.
Yeah.
Where like I jumped into it and the moves felt more natural than the DS4 right away. I was like, oh, this is great. Like I can walk around in the space, like crawl through here, scale up, like all of it just made sense.
Once you get used to like
even better.
The grab cam, once you get used to the grab cam, it makes it so much better than, or not better, so much more intuitive than DS4. So
yeah, you understand your scale as like an existing being in the space, and then you also realize that where your move controller is your point of like your access point or your axis where you like grab, and now you're holding the world from that point and you're moving it around you as like a being in space, but you're seeing it through your screen.
Yeah.
Like
that sounds extreme, man. I like it.
Yeah.
So I guess, Jamie, is there something that you wanted to bring up as far as a topic for us today?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, like with everyone here that got dreams, you obviously went in with the idea of creating something. Like you went in with this idea, whether it be a game, music, animation, film, like whatever genre you went in to create with. Did you find that you found a passion for another genre that you wouldn't expect you would? Like, let's just say you went in to make a game, but you actually found out you enjoyed making music so much in dreams for the game that is now like your driving passion that you would have necessarily not have realized unless it was for dreams.
Yeah, mine was definitely audio.
Was it? Yeah.
Like, I've had so much fun making like soundscapes and stuff for scenes. Like even a lot of like the small little like vignettes that I made, I've like probably spent like 2 or 3 hours sculpting and putting it together, and then like twice that long like tweaking the rest of the stuff, like the audio, how the camera pans in, like all the little side stuff, but like making new sound effects, putting them together, doing audio passes and stuff is so much fun. So much fun.
Yes.
Like for Ghost Geezers, like when you play Ghost Geezers and you're the ghost, like I feel like when you go into the wall as the ghost, it like changes how the sound effects play because like you're in the wall, and then like when you get closer to enemies, I like put a different soundtrack come on, or like when you're not engaged with enemies, like the music changes a bit too. Like that kind of stuff is something that's really cool with Dreams that I've loved doing. Elca, you were saying, sorry?
Yeah, I feel you absolutely on that. I went into Dreams creating like mainly scenes, not even games. But I found the audio tools are so cool. Once you get really into the audio tools, it's so crazy what you can do. You just with white noise, if you use white noise and all the sliders on the audio tools, you can do so crazy stuff. And it's like with all sounds. And now with the audio update, you can have like zoned audio and stuff like that. That's so crazy. And beat synced stuff too. So it's like sync to the music if you do stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's great. It's so much fun.
I'm like a little different in that like I studied game development in college, so like I went through the Unreal pipeline and all that, and like took programming like video game development programming as a minor, so like I could speak to programmers, but I always wanted to be like a character artist and an environment artist. And I kind of strayed away from that stuff and went down like as a career path with like motion graphics because it was easy for me and it would pay the bills. And I strayed further and further away from like game development and character design and environment and art and all that. So Dreams didn't necessarily like push me into a new area of development, which like I want to get down, but that's probably like a conversation a year from now. But it allowed me to do the things I wanted to do, which was actually like get in there and make characters that I could like put into worlds and start designing environments and stuff. So I would say it like at least open doors, but like I started just rigging out of like the characters up with bones and everything because like I was like, I'm familiar with this and I need to start doing more of this, not just explore sculpting, even though I still have like tons to learn there. But then I was like, okay, cool. Like I'm going to take this character, like my little plastic dreamer, and like start adding mechanics to it and just use it as like a safe space to design like mechanics where I'm not like breaking someone else's game or something. And so now it's allowing me to like branch out into that. And I'm going to use that to then get into like enemy logic and sound design and like other worlds and stuff. But like, that's like just like a personal thing for me. But like on like our bigger project, I try to like stick to what I'm best at and what I feel confident in bringing to like a polished pipeline. But I wanted to like branch out a little bit so I could start doing those things, but it hasn't like gone too far yet. So I'm still just like scratching the surface. So, but yeah, you guys like are super inspirational with like all the work that you do. Cause you're hitting every aspect of Dreams, Mbergs and Elca. Like,
thanks.
So that's the goal. That's the
goal. Trying. My PS4 hard drive is filled with like dead prototypes of like playable characters. And I'm like, this would be cool to do. It kind of works. But like I just move on to something else. Like messing in that space is so much fun.
Like for me, it was the complete opposite. Like out of Dreams from a creational standpoint, you know, I was developing music in Logic Pro. Like that's where I sort of created. And before Dreams, like I really stopped making music for a while. I just got sick of the DAW that I was using, and I didn't really want to move to something else and learn a whole new aspect all over again. So when I got Dreams, I was like, okay, let's give game development a go. Realized how difficult that was. And then I thought, you know what? I'll give the music tools a go, see what they're like. And it was just like such a fresh burst of air to do music in a completely different way. It's like really reignited that passion to develop music. And I don't think I could go back to Logic anymore. Like I love making music in Dreams so much because it's so... It's like so organic the way that you do things.
Yeah.
Like doing effects and stuff, how you move it on that live timeline with all the different effects bubbles and stuff. Like try and doing that in Logic, you need to download 6 different plugins, make sure they all communicate with one another, do different sliders, add different buses and stuff. It just seems more work than it does for it to be fun. And like doing that in Dreams is just so fun to just mess around with the controller moving in different effect bubbles. And then it's just, I love the music. I love the music side in Dreams.
My roommate makes a ton of music, and I've been trying to get him to get into Dreams and do it in there. But it's like, I don't know enough about the tools that he's using, like Logic and all that. And I'm like, I don't know if it's a toy compared to that. Like, but it seems like it's not.
don't get me wrong, you have way more control in Logic.
Right.
But I like being out of control in Dreams. I like the wildness of it. Like I'm creating music way out of my comfort zone in Dreams that I would not even hesitate. Like I wouldn't even try to make in Logic because of just trying to think of how to physically do it. Whereas in Dreams, it's like, well, this is going to be fun to do. Like, let's just mess around and see what I come up with.
And I think fidelity is kind of like the biggest sacrifice across the board in Dreams. So like on ZBrush, I can get like super detailed models, right? Dreams, it gets flecky. With music, I'm sure there's like some level of that too that goes across. But I think that the fun and freedom and like experimental nature of everything in Dreams makes for better creations, regardless of the fidelity.
Controversial take that flex are better than polygons.
Screw polygons. Like I will never vouch for a 3D program over Dreams because of polygons 100%. Like go play with polygons and UV maps if you want. Go do it and then come back.
Even Unity has adopted like signed distance field like Dreams now with like blending shapes and stuff like that.
Like
Cinema 4D does it. So everybody's going that direction.
Like there are things of like sculpting that like I wish you could group select sculpt objects and clone them and stuff, or like do other things within a sculpt. But like I don't know, flex and painting flex is so much more fun and expressive than like sculpting something. And like I feel like a lot of people bump up against flex and like they try to fight them as opposed to use them to their advantage. Like a lot of people try to make the tightest sculpts they want to make like a concrete wall. But if you go on the street and look at a concrete wall, it's dirty, it's grimy, it's got texture.
Right.
Which is like what flex. Use a big flex, and then it looks like a painted wall.
And guess what? It doesn't cost as much.
And like I don't know, like taking advantage of that system and like using it to its strengths as opposed to like trying to fight it is like gonna yield such a higher fidelity.
I think Kareem saved Dreams by pushing so hard for the painterly aspect because you are like when you're making a game, no matter how detailed you make the normal maps and the textures and all that, if it doesn't have a style, you're gonna notice. Like I still haven't played it, but Elca, you were playing the samurai game.
Slice?
No, real, like not real.
Ghost of Tsushima?
Ghost of Tsushima, yeah. And it's like it looks beautiful, but it's like stylized if you get up close. And so it's like it's not about high fidelity and high detailed models. It's about like making it all feel the way you want it to. And Flex allow you to do that so much better.
Like I haven't streamed in a long
No, it's just
like I haven't streamed in a long time because of school and stuff, but like I'm trying to figure out what my plan is for when I have more time during the summer to stream. And like I feel like I want to like do some sort of like teaching thing or like helping the community like work with Flex in less of like a tutorial way, but more of like a holistic understanding of like how to make things look good within Dreams.
How much do you charge an hour?
He does it when he's bored.
I do it when I'm bored. Because like a lot of people like always ask like how do you make this specific thing, but they always kind of approach it from like the tools and less the like understanding of like how you compose a scene or how you make the like creative decisions or the process like we talked about earlier. So like I don't know, I'm trying to figure out what I want to do with streaming in the summer, but like using Flex and using the tools from a holistic point of view as opposed to like a workflow point of view. I don't know. That's
To add to that too, people always come into the stream and ask why is it all so flaky and so low res and stuff like that, but they don't understand yet that's more about like lighting and composition and stuff like that, and it's not really about how high res a texture is. Even Dreams, it's better if you go lower res, but more like if we want to talk about polygons, height map, kind of stuff. So you have more shadows and stuff like that. And this, in my workflow, usually comes last to add like all the lighting, but have the level design first. So people need to understand that's not all about resolution. Same in Ghost of Tsushima. Even the textures itself, if you really look at it, are pretty low res, but they have such a good lighting system and such a cool world. That it just looks good.
Yeah, and like you go through like a forest in that game, and it's like bright orange leaves, right? And like it's the art direction of that game that makes it look so good. Because if it like that same amount of graphics quality without the great art direction, it would just look like every other generic game in the world. But because they went with such a stylized version of what Japan looks like people often like I think misguide realism for like they say The Last of Us is like a very realistic looking game, but like it's really not. Like it's a very stylized version of the world. Like it's very artist rendered, like deciding what tree goes where and all that stuff is the same as Dreams. You just got to make those choices in a really like holistic art direction way. Yeah.
Yeah,
explaining the why to people is important.
Sorry,
well, in college, I had a teacher telling me like it was a Maya class, right? She was teaching in Maya, and she worked for like the South Park Studios doing animation. They used Maya for their construction paper 2D stuff. They were just 3D models, super flat, and that's how they would animate all their stuff. And so she knew Maya, and that's what they were teaching. And I was like, okay, cool. I like 3ds Max because I'm working with video games, and that all my video game classes are in 3ds Max, and we're working with like FBX files and Targas and all these things that are game related. So I'm gonna apply that stuff to this. And she didn't like that. She's like, you need to learn Maya. And I was like, why? I was like, you're teaching me concepts that I can apply to a different program. Isn't that more than what we're doing here? Like you're showing me the tool and how to do it, but like I'm taking the concept that you're telling me and I'm doing it in a different program. Yeah, she hated it, and I was like, that's the right mentality.
That's the mentality you're gonna find. And most of the time I found, basically. But it could just be that I'm not a likable person. Anyway, the point is, like, to get back to the question that you asked, James, for me, what became more evident to me, like, you know, seeing everybody do all this wonderful work and seeing how many different directions and everything, my how would I put this? It sounds woe is me, but it's not how I intend it to sound. But I've always wanted to make movies, to do feature films, and as a person with no connections really into that at all, like it's always been like this, almost about to get it done. Oh, I can't do it anymore. Somebody backed out, or, you know, something like that. And so for me, coming into Dreams, my motivations didn't change, but it like the reason I'm so enamored with speaking with all of you is because it kind of gave me more. The biggest asset to me in the Dreams community is the Dreams community. So it's not necessarily that the game inspired me to branch out into other things. Yeah, I'm trying to learn logic, but that's because I had delusions of grandeur. And but it's just the fact that, like, I've met people like just the people on like the Dino project, where I'm just like, you know, seeing you and Vin work on music, or having Marcos or Spicy Waffles, as y'all know him on Dreams, you know, seeing his process and how he works, and like kind of learning through what he does. It's just that team dynamic. So it's not necessarily that I've grown to like more. It's that there's a venue to those things that were cut off to me before Dreams came. So, not to hark back on that previous thought I was talking about before the podcast, but basically it's like, you know, so if everything that I speak about with Dreams, even things that it may sound like that I'm being hypercritical, it's all love. It's all the idea, as Mikey brought up before the podcast, where it's like a lot of people see Dreams from the way that they interact with it. And while somebody may be like, yeah, it has everything that I need, for other people, it's like, yeah, it's good. As a matter of fact, it's great. In my opinion, it's the greatest game ever made. That's like nothing holds a candle to it to me. So like, you know, but at the same time, like you said, if you're for someone who's like, hey guys, calm down. The 15-second thing will be lifted in audio soon. Well, if you, as I brought up before, if you're an opera singer, that's a little bit more of a pressing matter for you. than it is to someone who's like, yeah, I can make do. You know,
Right.
So just know that it all comes from love, and we all love dreams. As I hope after hell, where are we at now? 28, 29 episodes. I hope people I hope people understand that we love
Sorry,
dreams.
1 second. Step away.
Yeah. So, but yeah, and it actually helped me gain a lot of respect for, as I've told you before, I've had this long going love-hate relationship with George Lucas. And
understandable
because I used to always say, like, I give him his credit, but he has a fantastic team. Like the team is what I would credit the growth of IPs like Star Wars to, and less him, like, but it also gave me this perspective on Lucas and others, where it's just like, yeah, but you do kind of have to credit with providing that team, like to having the right team. And that's kind of what you get the understanding for when you embark on a huge project in Dreams, is that you get that perspective of like how everything has to work together, and no one person like has it all, really.
Well, unless you're Mbergs.
Yeah, unless you're Mbergs and Elca and Mikey and all these other gods that we talk with on a weekly basis, like. But
no, it's always a team thing. Like working on like Ghost Geezers for Halloween for that jam. Like we made that pretty quickly, but like it was a huge team effort from everyone. Like each of us were all doing our own thing, and like it wouldn't have happened at all without any of the other players in that game. So like the community aspect of it is like essential, and like using each other, working and collabing with each other is absolutely
using each other.
Well, no, but like you are like taking advantage and like learning from each other, and that's why it's kind of awesome. Like
that to me is just like one of the pinnacle things for Dreams, and this is going to make Mighty Vicious salty because he tried to do it before I did and he didn't get anywhere with it. But like just creating a team of people, like just reaching out and say, hey, do you want to join together and make something cool? And like, yeah, okay, let's do it. And then all of a sudden you've got like 6-7 people working on a project, everyone's doing their own thing, and you're all working together. It's just so quick and easy, at least in my experience, to just get people together and just be like, let's make
it's so quick, it's so easy. But he's right though. Like all the jokingly salt aside, he's right, because like I said, it's the community that's the greatest asset that I believe we all have, is that you might not. You might have to try a few times. You may need to work on something and then show a proof of concept like you would in the real world, to get people interested or involved. But ultimately, it is just you have access to some of the most talented and creative people ever. And I never expected it to be on my PlayStation.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. And even if you can't get those people on a chat or on a team, if they release something publicly, you have the ability to go in and dissect that and learn from what they've done, which is so helpful. Try doing that anywhere else.
Yeah. It's such a cool experience. Like I looked at, because I made like a kit of assets like last summer or 2 summers ago. And it's just been out there, and I see it occasionally like pop up on streams and stuff. But I checked one of the assets like to see how many times it was used, and it's been used in like over 500 creations.
Wow.
And it's like, wow, like this thing that I made like over like a couple weeks, like 2 years ago, has been like in so many games. And I just spent like an afternoon going through the list of creations it's used in and like playing a bunch of different games by like hundreds of different creators. It was so cool.
Yeah,
like
I do that with some assets.
Yeah.
Like, the only asset I have that gets used a lot is like that axe that I made from God of War. And it's like, I'll go and check and see what people have done with it. Like I've seen it in hallways, other characters. Like I'm like, this is sick. Like
it's cool.
I want more of that.
It's like, oh, it's that rock. Like, oh, I've seen that ladder before in this other dream. That's cool.
Like, and that's another thing like that I didn't expect. Like I knew Dreams was going to be good because Media Molecule developed it. I mean, if you've played Little Big Planet, you knew Dreams was going to be big, right? But
Yes.
And Tearaway, oh my god, Tearaway is so good.
Oh yeah, Terry is also good. But like, I knew things was going to be good in Dreams, but I didn't expect the Dreamiverse assets to be so as excessive as they are. Like, you know, people are just creating stuff purely for other people to use, and that's just so wholesome. It's like, you know, you could spend all this time developing stuff for your own project and lock it down so no one else can use it, so it's unique to your game. But no, you have people like Mbergs that's making asset packs for people so that they've got content just drag and drop into a creation and just start building. It's just so cool. It's just like,
go through the free section of turbosquid.com and tell me you're finding more quality content and that you can use in your Unity or Unreal games. Go tell me that you got a better library of free accessible content. I'll wait.
And also, like, I feel like within like games outside of Dreams, if there's like reusable assets in it, it's like a knock against it. But for me, it's so charming and cool when I see something recognizable in a Dream. It's like, yeah, it's awesome. Yeah.
But like, even just grabbing something from the Dreamiverse and then being able to add to it, like, you know, let's just say, I don't know, like an axe then, for instance, and you think, oh, wouldn't it be cool if this was like a double-edged axe? Just copy that bit, mirror it over, done. You know,
did you guys
cool.
Did you guys saw that mattress that went around in the Dreamiverse? Like, it started off as a super clean mattress, then it was a dirty mattress, then a bloody mattress,
yeah,
and then a mattress, like, zombies and stuff. That's so cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was cool. Man, I had an idea for a community collab jam thing, but I'm like trying to work out the details, because in my program I'm in the second year, they do a group project across multiple groups. So like all groups at the beginning will write a story, and then they'll hand that story to a second group.
Yes.
And then the second group will do the storyboards for the story, and then hand it to the next group. And then the third group will design the characters and layouts, and then hand it to the next group. And then the final group will do the actual animation for it. And
wow, that's like the ultimate jam.
Yeah, and like I really want to try to find a way in Dreams to make, maybe on a smaller scale, but like to do groups, like to hand off things with each other, or like even just like everyone starts with a prompt and works for half an hour on an asset and then hands it off to someone else and then works half an hour on the asset, like kind of like hot potato but asset building. I think that'd be such a fun.
This is kind of a little different, but you know how like those videos, they'll take like it and crop it down and then they'll like add on to it by like so something like that with Dreams would be cool, where you hand it to somebody and they continue it and it just keeps getting passed and it's just like versioning up every time someone adds to it.
Dream. That sounds amazing.
Yeah. I want to do that. Maybe I'll put that together. We'll see.
Do it. I would do this community thing.
Yeah, because like some of my favorite stuff in Dreams is still like the wild, bizarre creations that people make. It's so good. Like, like I showed my friends Dreams once, and they made their 3 pets, and they combined them into one animal, and then made it as a playable character. And it's like that stuff is so cool. Like,
I also like when
it's not beautiful. Yeah,
it's fun.
Yeah.
Everybody seems to have so much time.
Oh no, I don't sleep, Mighty. That's all.
Yeah. I don't sleep. Lord Jesus. Because I'm just like, in the few moments I have, I'm like, oh, I gotta try to make this nose before before it's all over. All my time is gone.
I spent a 24-hour stream on an ear and then I threw it away. So don't worry about it.
Jesus.
The last thing I made in Dreams, the like let's chill or let's relax scene, I think I made between like 11:30 at night and 3 a.m. because it was like the only time of the week I had to go into Dreams.
You know, like when you YouTube surfing and you just, you know, you start watching something and you end up watching in the end, like 6 hours later, you're on something completely random and you're like, okay, right, now it's time for me to go to bed. I'm watching some weird stuff. Like that happened to me with Dreams not so long ago. Like it was a weekend and I thought, I'm just going to dream surf for like 3 or 4 hours and see where I end up. And like I was playing something really cool, and by the end of it, I was playing this animation short film of Mickey Mouse killing Pooh Bear for dating Minnie Mouse or something, and he was chainsawing his head off, and I was like,
classic.
Time to go to bed.
The Dreams makers. We need the Dream meme makers to make the ones that are like who's up at 1 a.m. reading Reddit when they don't need to be? This guy, like, you're like, you need to go to bed. Stop dreaming.
See, I like the way. I wish if only I could play in my sleep. That would be great. Because I have had that
Dream in your sleep.
Yeah, because now see, mind you, I do that.
Yes.
Like if I like when I go to sleep, I've always been like a lucid dreamer. So like when I run into problems, unless it's logic, with dreams, I'll actually start fixing it in my mind.
Yeah. You literally have to sleep on it. So you can visualize it. And you're like, okay, if I use this logic and I do this, that'll work. And then you wake up and you're like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
And then you start it and then it doesn't work.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Then you got to sleep on it again.
And it was broken logic.
No, it actually happened the other day while I was working. Because, I mean, as I've told y'all, I've been searching for, like, my style in dreams. Because, Lord knows, if it was all just drawing, I would be fine. But, you know, working in 3D, like, I've been trying to get something that is a style that I could be like, that's obviously me. Like, that has everything that I want.
Chasing for a style is like the wild goose chase of every artist. Don't do it. Just make stuff. like the way you choose to simplify and put things down in dreams is going to be your style regardless.
It's going to become it, yeah.
Because no one else will make it the same way. Like, don't worry, just make stuff. Like, I didn't set out to make a style. Apparently, I have one, but I just do what I want to do, and it's like Piece of Craft has its style. Yeah, like everyone has their style, but I don't think anyone actively chose to say, "Hey, I'm going to do this one thing." Mm-hmm. Like it comes up organically, and like chasing that thing that no one decided on is like it's never going to work out. Just make stuff. Just make it,
and it won't be a polished style in the beginning either.
Yeah. I mean, I agree, and ultimately, I do just make it, and then I'm like, now let's see what polishing this looks like. That's kind of like my process. It's like, you know, what do I like or don't like, stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, I do end up at some, like, I don't get to go into the Dreamiverse as far as like just to play a lot of things very often. It's mostly that I'll hear something or see a post and I'll like be like, play later, and then in like that little short time I'll go in and I'll play like a few things and I'm like, I'm out. But yeah, as far as YouTube goes, just to veer back into what Jammy was talking about, man, I know this is off topic, guys, but hear me out. So one night I went to sleep. I was like, I'm going to find the strangest UFO documentary I could possibly find on YouTube.
Yes.
And I do it all the time.
The weirder the better, I heard you say.
My wife wouldn't have to look far.
Hates it. My wife hates it, but because she's like, how am I supposed to sleep to this? And I'm like, because I was like, see, you make the mistake of actually listening to what they're saying. I'm just taking tones. Like that's it. I'll sleep in like 10 minutes. But one night I did this and I woke up once and it was like I don't know. It was like the lowest budget Jesus and his disciples like reenactment thing that you could possibly ever come across. and I was like,
how did you get from UFO?
Bro, I've been through so much. So then I was like, all right, whatever. I listened to the tones, went back to sleep. I woke up and this person had a bullet point on the screen talking about how the Scorpion King is locked in the sun. Yeah, in a black cube that holds the universe as some like an opposite universe, and I still have this picture. I have because I had this. I actually had to take a picture of my
your wife
TV.
Switched to WandaVision mid.
Yeah. So yeah, but I just had to tell that story. But
no worries.
So
that's where your inspiration is going to come from.
Yeah. You know, the only thing I can't watch that I gave my wife is I can't watch Squatch videos. Like Sasquatch.
Sasquatch videos? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she won't let me watch Sasquatch stuff.
They're just more frustrating than anything. She's like, they never conclude. They're always like with more questions.
Yeah. I found this footprint.
It led us down a path. We found nothing, but we're going to continue searching in another series 2 years later.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, back to I really had to. I don't know. I needed to say that story about the Scorpion King and the black box at the end of the universe. It's just, it's like still by far the weirdest thing.
Oh my god.
So, we are reaching the hour and a half point. Are there any more topics people want to go into?
I mean, I've got mine out.
Okay.
My boss keeps calling me.
I think one really important stuff is for dreamers is to share their stuff, even if it's like some work in progress stuff. If you feel good about it, most underrated dreamer in the whole Dreamiverse, Pixel Tuner, does so many cool stuffs, and he doesn't share it on Twitter. And I'm like, dude, this is so cool. Why don't you share it? And yeah, if you do stuff in dreams, just share it, and people will try to help you and find it cool and stuff. Just do that.
Yeah, it's hard to discover on dreams still. So like share it on Twitter, because like I'm following new people every day where I'm like, oh, that's really cool. Who is that? Am I following them? Nope. All right, new dreams content. Like
I made in dreams.
totally
Twitter hashtag is good. Especially that you can just like you can go to on your web browser and just like add to play later and see it later when you log into dreams next.
Yeah.
Like, share your stuff.
Definitely, I'd say definitely share to Twitter. I don't know why, but Twitter seems to be like a really hot place for dreams. Like people seem to really share their stuff there, and there's a lot of interaction on Twitter. Like at the moment, I've got like 856 people that I'm following from dreams on Twitter, and that grows every day.
That's all I use it for.
Yeah. It grows every day. I'm following new people every day, realizing so many underground creators like that don't really advertise their stuff, but they just use Twitter as a platform just to like put it there.
Yeah.
Insane creators out there that no one knows about. And
like you follow them in dreams and you realize they've got like 5 people following them, and it's like it's such a crime. Like, how are you not recognized on the Dreamiverse? It's just like ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it's international.
Yeah. So, but that's how I felt about Scott, or at SZ738. I found him randomly, and it's just like some of the most mind-blowing experiments with like Fleck and all types of stuff, and like nobody had seen him. It's like I was like, how do more people, like, how come I'm not hearing about you? Like, and so after he was on the show, he was like, yeah, I'll try to be more active. But, to get back to Pixel Tuner, like he's been invited on the podcast for a long time. But he doesn't feel comfortable doing it yet. So I'm going to keep working on him. But
all
right.
Hot topic.
Oh
yes.
boy. InDreams.me has such the potential to become an actual social platform like Twitter. Wouldn't it be great if they made InDreams.me like an actual app for your phone where, you have your own actual profile where you can post stuff, and like it become the main interaction for dreams? Like, because like I just said, like Twitter seems the main place to interact with dreamers online. I feel like they're really missing something special by not pushing InDreams.me to be more than what it currently is. Like what it is now is cool, but there's so much potential for it to be this perfect platform for everything dreams related. Like,
and think about curators on there. They could easily grab things and make collections.
Yeah, like we shouldn't have to use Twitter. We shouldn't have to go outside of the ecosystem of dreams to be able to share content and communicate with dreamers. Like, we should be able to do that in the platform itself. And I think In Dreams is a really great way of doing that if it's done properly. I think we all need to start shouting at Media Molecule to make InDreams.me the Twitter for dreamers.
I don't feel like we should shout. I don't feel like we should shout at them.
No, you know what I mean.
Like,
no.
No, I mean, it's just I feel like they're moving as fast as they can with everything that they have on their plate.
Yeah.
And even though I'm sure they expected the game to be well received, I don't know if they were ready for what's become of it. Like, I don't know, like you always think what you do is gonna, have some impact, but could they have foreseen this community Like this amount of
Yeah, this community is wild beyond imagination. It's like
Oh, yeah.
it's insane the amount of variety of people that are making things on the platform. It's so good.
Well, I think they built that with the early access in mind, because it was a platform for bug like reporting and kind of like seeing your own work organized and able to talk to people. But I don't think at the time they were like, we need to blow this up into a full social platform. This just needs to be a place to interface. But I think you're right, James. I think they could take it there.
But going back to like, whether they expected, Dreams to blow up the way they did, I think they totally expected it. I mean, like when Little Big Planet 2 released, there was over 1 million user-generated levels created on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely think they expected it to blow up the way it has, and because they know that their community would just soak it up, because it's what people have been wanting since Little Big Planet came out, is like to be able to create like you can in Little Big Planet, but with more. And I think like that's been the evolution of Media Molecule in themselves. They've always been about creating and playing and sharing. And Dreams is just sort of their finished, well, not their finished, but like their end goal was Dreams and, Little Big Planet. And that was their way to that. So, yeah, I definitely think that they expected people to do what they've done with Dreams, and they encourage it. Go crazy with it.
But yeah, let me get off Twitter and just using dreams.me.
Yeah.
Like that would be great.
That's what I want. That's what I really want. I just want In Dreams to become the social media platform exclusively for Dreams.
Mm-hmm.
Just how many people are in the company? Like actual number.
Oh, I reckon I can quickly Google it.
Because I don't feel like it's that many, and it's like it feels like at this time.
I think it's like at least under 50. Like I think it's
I was thinking
that size
100.
of a studio.
No, it's small.
It's small. Like could be in the 30s.
No, it's more than 30.
No,
Okay.
I thought it was 100, but I might be wrong.
50.
50. Okay.
50. Yeah. Guys.
That's 50 people across all disciplines.
I mean,
all disciplines.
It's probably more than that now, because they have been
including
like on
Tom.
a crazy hiring streak lately. So it's probably more than that now, because they have been hiring quite a lot lately. So maybe 60, 70 people.
But like community manager doesn't help develop the game. So even like some employees aren't pushing, the game itself further. So some of them are maintaining community and just other aspects like that. So it's even more stressful.
Jesus, the fact that 50 people made Dreams is even more mind-blowing than what it originally was.
That's
My
what I'm
God.
saying. So it's kind of like, it's that pullback moment that I try to do every now and again, where it's like, that 60 people. Yeah, I would love for In Dreams to become its own app and all this other stuff, but let's give them. We're at the tip of year one. Can we? Let's just pull it back.
You want to see how it could have been? You should go look at how the community of Mario Maker 2 has to deal with to share their creations, because that's a hot mess. Like they have like less than like you have to share like a code to give it to someone else, and we have In Dreams on me. I'm happy.
Yeah. I'll take multiplayer over more advanced dreams in dreams.me for now.
Yeah. Like in Mario Maker 2, you can tag by like in Mario Maker 2 you can tag by like 6 tags, and that's like it for the whole game.
Yeah.
What'd you say, Elca?
I take plushies over everything.
Oh yeah, plushies.
Plushies over everything. That should be their main.
Plushies now.
No more
Plushies
updates,
riot.
just plushies.
They just become a plushie producing like company. Everybody do it by hand.
I'm just going to mention plushies now on every episode until something happens. Just slowly keep pushing it. Like, what about plushies?
Just on the title, just put plushies ? Every time.
Well, apparently Twitch is experiencing issues. So
that's nothing new.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, I just want to make sure. So we are still live currently, but it's throwing up all types of
warnings.
Yeah, types of warnings being like weird and low latency, it's buffering, blah 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 blah.
Oh, I get that all the time.
Yeah,
I actually don't ever not have that.
That's how my stream starts.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, oh, cool. It means Streamlabs is running. Everything's red. Perfect.
Wow. So, let me ask. I'm gonna just be straightforward here with everyone. Do y'all want to work on a project? Do y'all want to come into the fold of a new project?
I wish.
Are you Mbergs? I'm not taking that. I'm not taking that
I've
answer.
I've turned down someone else this week already. I felt so bad. I was like, I want to, but I can't.
I was talking to Zypher. He's like, "Can you work on this like character?" And I'm like, "No."
I was saying the same thing I said to the person last. Like, if you send me a collab on it, I will absolutely pop in there and like help out and like give some feedback and stuff.
But Mighty down the line, yes.
I would actually enjoy that. Line, yes. I love helping, but like.
Yeah, I was honestly joking, but at the same time,
keep it open. Keep the invite open.
Send me that collab. I will absolutely work on a collab, but
I'm gonna be like, hey, Mbergs, I just need this the logic for this entire level done. Can you do that? Here are the bullet points. Here are the bullet points. Knock them out.
If there is a really cool asset that you're just like, oh, like I really want this one asset, like that's something that I'm interested in, like contributing a thing here or there to like projects. Yeah. So like if there's just something that you're like, there's this one thing like this weapon or something, like throw it my way and I'll try to contribute like one thing just to like touch other people's projects.
Yeah. Well,
Piece of Craft already stole me from his kart racing game, so.
Indeed. We've already proposed a community jam type thing. That we'll be working on once we get there in our development for Dino. Something to bring the community in, because I want to have people do a bunch of stuff, just like extras and voice logs and stuff like that. But
we definitely want the community involved with the project at some point.
Have like a kit and a checklist and be like, oh, I snagged this asset and here's the kit to be like the style guide, and then be like, okay, I'm gonna make this thing, and so that people are contributing lots of stuff, but they're all kind of geared towards like one thing, like one style. That could be really cool.
Yeah, actually, that's
and a way to use each other.
Yeah, I can't wait to utilize you. So, Jamie, did you have any more?
No, I'm good.
Mikey?
Nah, this has been really fun. Thank you. I'm like checking my phone every second because I don't want to leave, but I got work to do.
At Mbergs, you got one more hot take for us or anything?
Keep making and keep sharing. Just keep making
and keep sharing.
Good.
Because I be out here sometimes be like, my precious, like no one can use it until I finally put it out of what I want.
Same.
So yeah, just create and share for the community.
Yes.
Be a part of the community. Don't be a golem. And Elca?
I'm good. Just wash your hands, spread those cheeks, clap those butts.
Oh my. So, and with that, ladies and gentlemen, yes, we have reached the end of the show. Thank you for joining us. Next week, we are doing the ladies roundtable, which should be quite fun. We're going to have Zodira. Excuse me. We're going to have Zodira and Zelly Beans, JJ Novitz, and Apes on Fire. So
it's exciting.
It's going to be intriguing. So thank you for joining us. Sorry if we lost connection there for a moment. I'm not sure whether or not it did. It was sending me all types of errors. But and thank all of y'all for coming. And Elca, we do want to Elca, Mikey, and Mbergs, when you have time, we would like to do more one-on-ones with y'all to go more into your process. I think, as Mbergs said, to go into the platform and less the tools.
Wow.
So, but yeah, thank you, everybody. I'm going to find somebody to raid, but thank you for being here with us.
Yeah, thank you for having us. It was super fun hanging out.
And you guys stick around for this SpongeBob.
Yeah, I gotta hear this.
It's worth risking work for by the sounds of things, so just hold on for the extra few minutes.